and welcome to River Styx Media. It's that time again. It's the monthly book review, and this month we are reviewing Dragons of Deceit by Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman. This is the first of a new trilogy that they've come out in. I guess they're redoing Dragonlance or something. Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman haven't wrote a Dragonlance novel. God, I don't know how long. The last trilogy they wrote was actually The Lost Chronicles by Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman. This was the last trilogy that they wrote, and as you can see, the logo is a little bit different. So this is, I guess, the new Dragonlance before it got bought by Wizards of the Coast, and Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman went to a legal battle over the franchise. I don't know how that won, but obviously they lost in part because it's now a Dungeons and Dragons novel. It's not just Dragonlance. It used to be strictly Dragonlance, but we're not going to get into that because that has nothing to do with the novel. This was a fun novel to read. It was super easy to read. I read it in about a week. Every Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman book that I've read has been easy to read. They haven't wrote just Dragonlance. They've done some other projects. None of which I can think off the top of my head. They're best known for the Dragonlance series. Basically, Dragonlance was their version of Critical Role, because Dragonlance was their D&D campaign that they decided to make into a franchise and all these novels now. This takes place before the Chronicles, which is the first Dragonlance trilogy that anyone should read. This takes place before the Chronicles, during the Chronicles, and after the Chronicles. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed. So you've got a copper dragon, who I can't remember the name of right now, but he plays a role in part of the book. You've got the main character of Destina. I believe that's Tasselhoff Burfoot, and that's one of the dwarves. His name is Wolf something. I am terrible at this. Basically, he's a minor character in my mind, so I don't really pay attention to their names. But I remember that it's those two, and I don't remember the dragon's name because he's also a minor character. Minor characters I don't really get attached to because they tend to either get killed off or they don't really do anything. So, I definitely recommend picking this up. If you've never read Dragonlance, you don't really need to, because this doesn't, it's a whole new story. They explain enough in the story that you're not left going, but it will want you to read the Chronicles, which I'm not sure how easy they're to find. You'll probably find them on Amazon. I actually found them at a used bookstore of all places, many years ago. But yeah, it was a good story. I look forward to seeing where this goes, especially with how it ends. And the character of Destina Rosethorn, I have to say she comes across as a spoiled little brat. Yeah, I can't like her. There's maybe by the end of the trilogy I'll actually like her, but in this one I'm not a fan of her. She comes across as a spoiled little brat. But yeah, I definitely recommend reading it. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, hit notification bell, all that fun stuff, and be sure to leave a comment on any books that you want me to read in the future. Again, I might continue doing this, I might not. Depends on what books I end up picking up in the future. The book I'm reading right now I might do a review of, because it's an author I've read one book of before, and I really enjoy the author, and he has some really interesting concepts with his writing. But yeah, leave some comments on what you recommend I should read next, and we'll see how it goes in the future. But until then, we'll see you next month, and we'll see you next month with another book review. Maybe. I don't know. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and notification, and we'll see.